Good afternoon, YouTube. Name's Rob Pollard. This is a short video to show off some enhancements that have been made to Ancient Armies mapping system called Atlas, and I'll show you those now. So let's pop into the map editor. These enhancements are all centered around hills, and what they do, they actually add the concept of contour lines, which I'll show you now. So what we'll do, we'll create a standard Ancient Armies hill very quickly, and then we'll show off the new features. So let's change the colour of that so we can see what we're doing for the next contour. So we'll make this a 3 contour hill. Don't worry about the colours, I'm going to change those. One more hopefully, and then a green. So Atlas, which is used for creating the maps, isn't really part of Ancient Armies. It's a standalone mapping system that I wrote, and as such it allows you to make the terrain any colour that you want. However, it wouldn't be very good for a game if all your maps look completely different, so we got this system built in called elevation keys that allow you to standardise the look and feel, so I'm going to do that now. And once I've done this, you should recognise the colour scheme from some of the other screenshots. Whilst we're here, we'll turn the grid down, it's far too bright. There we go. Right, so this is a fairly typical Ancient Armies hill. There's nothing different from what you haven't already seen. It auto detects the terrain, has infinitely zoomable curves, so regardless of how close you get, everything looks nice and smooth and curvy. So what's the enhancements? Let's show you it. Let's pop over to the ground tab. The enhancement is centered around contour lines, and you can see that on the new contour line tab. In fact, these contours have so many controls now, I've had to make them tabbed controls. And under the new control, you've got the settings for contour lines. So let's enable them all now so you can actually see what they are. Here we go. And they're pretty much like the contour lines you'll find on a real map. Let's zoom in a bit and have a look at some of these. Now these, putting contour lines into the system was it was non-trivial and fairly difficult, and the reason why is well, the curvature of the hills. A designer on the map can make the hills any shape that they want, and I have to write the routing for drawing the contours to match the curves. In addition, I then have to position the text representing these elevation numbers in just the right place, and placing them in the right place on a curved line can be tricky. And to really up the difficulty level, I also wanted the contour line to break when it got to the number, so you could more easily read the number. And I think real maps do that too. You very rarely ever see the line cut all the way through the number. And again, that took a fair amount of coding effort. So what can we do with these contour lines? Well, there's a lot of things that I allow you to adjust. You can change the colour, so let's change the colour of that one to red. You can also adjust where the number appears. Now, all of these numbers are set to an orientation of 135 degrees from the hill centre, but you can change that just by clicking that. As you can see, the numbers whizzing around the hill automatically follows the shape of the hill. And that will enable designers to put these numbers, these contour numbers anywhere that they want. Let's put it back. Another thing you can do is change the opacity value, so you can make it more see-through, or you can make it absolutely solid. We leave that sort of more see-through. I think they look better when they're more blended into the terrain. So fairly flexible, and obviously we've got a fairly small hill here. It's only because it's 30 meters, but I've designed systems that even if you put some really massive sizes in there, say like 100,000, or in this case 10,000 meters, quite high, it automatically calculates the gap appropriately. So it's a very flexible system. And of course, it gives you not only does it make, I guess that, or add, I guess, a different look and feel to the maps, but it also enables you to do things such as perhaps turn off the map color, just leaving the contours behind. So you can have a map that is stylized like this. I guess a little bit more like a military style map, I guess. So that's one advantage. But anyway, given that the hassles I went to put these contours into the system, I guess the big question is why? Why do I invest the time and effort to do it? The reason was satellite imagery. Now, Atlas, the mapping system that Ancient Armies uses, supports satellite imagery, so you can play your games on satellite imagery, or in fact any other kind of overlay. But I found that without these contours, using hills on a satellite overlay is actually quite difficult for the player. And what I'll do, I'll show you that now by actually creating a satellite-based map with hills, and then you can see what's going on. So let's import one. Here's one I downloaded from Google Maps. I haven't cleaned it up, so it's got lots of googly mappy type stuff on it. And the first thing I need to do is register the scale. It's like 100 meters, so let's grab 100 meters. Click from there to there. Hit OK. OK, that. So this is our new map, and let's integrate our grid with that a bit better. I always find white grids tend to look better with satellite mapping as opposed to red ones. And let's tone the opacity down. There you go. That grid now actually looks like it was always there, even though it's generated by Atlas. So when a designer or player uses a satellite map, if you use it just as is, the system doesn't know where anything is, so it doesn't know there's a river here or there's a forest here. What you normally do, you add basically terrain features using the Atlas systems. Like for a river, you might go down here like that. I'm doing this very quickly. I'm kind of rushing basically. In fact, let's make that Bezier based. Make it a little bit wider. And then the idea is, so I'm give it a name. Let's call it the Granicus, River Granicus. So this river is now registered with the system. Now you wouldn't normally leave it visible. You'd normally hide it, but it's still there. So when I move my mouse cursor over it, if you look bottom left, you see it's detected it as a stream, the River Granicus. So that's how you register terrain with a system for satellite imagery. You can do the same for these woods here, for instance, as another example. So let's very quickly put in some woods. We won't bother doing all of it, we'll just do this bit on the bottom. So there's our woods. Now again, you could leave them displayed like that, but most people on a satellite image will actually hide them. And then let's give the woods a name as well. So here, the woods. Now when I move my cursor over it, you'll see bottom left it's detected as lay woods. And of course, if I do things like check line of sight through it, you can see it's partly blocked in there. So it works, and it's a great way of using satellite imagery with Ancient Armies or anything else that's using Atlas. So the question is, how about hills? Where do they fit in? So let's create one for this map. So let's pop it up here in this corner. So we'll make it 10 meters elevation. And in fact we'll add 2 more contours to it, I think. So let's grab that, change colour the next one. Again, like previous, don't worry about the colours. And we'll add 1 more contour on top, 13 meters eventually. So this is our 3-tiered hill. We'll put in the elevations as well, and we'll also give the hill a name. Let's call it Sugarloaf, as that's one of my favourite hills in real life. Alright, almost done. So we fully defined our hill, and apart from the really gopping colours which we could change, the big issue is it doesn't look like it's part of the map. It kind of looks like it's stuck on. Now, I could do the same trick with hills that I did with the forest and the stream. I could just hide it like this, and that's great. And as you see, if I move my cursor across it, look bottom left, you'll see it's detected it as Sugarloaf and the various elevations. And again, if I do a line of sight test across it, you can see it's blocked. So it's working like a hill. The only problem is, if I was a player playing on this map, I'd have no idea there's a hill there because there's nothing sticking up. Now, in the older version of Ancient Armies, that wasn't a problem because that had real 3D maps, but because these maps are flat, that there's no way for a player to discern that there's a hill there other than by looking bottom left. Hence why I decided to bring in the contour line system. So let's activate those and see what they look like. So there you go, straight away as a player I can now see the hill, so it makes it easy for me to maneuver my units, and again we can run loss checks and so forth. But thanks to the tooling, we can now integrate these contours to actually make them look like they're part of the map. And again, for this style map, I find the best colour for this is white, funnily enough, so let's change these all to white. There can be any colour that you want, whatever suits your style. And just to really make it look like it was always part of the satellite imagery, let's tone them down a bit in terms of opacity. Let's go for around 20%. Almost there. Oh, gone a bit too far on that one. We'll drop this one down to 20 as well. There you go, all three hill contours now 20. Now, if you look at this, these contours look like they're always part of this map. In fact, that 30 meters looks like it's slightly off, so let's move that down a bit to line it up with the other numbers wrong way. So look how easy this is, it's fairly simple. While do I move the 10 meters up? Again, wrong way. So I'll do for the moment. But yeah, these contours now look like they were always drawn on the map, just like the grid. They look like they're part of the map. And more importantly, the player can actually see that there's a hill here and be able to use their units on this hill, and of course do all the other things like line of sight checks. So without this contour system in place, it would be very difficult to use the standard Ancient Armies hills with satellite imagery or any other overlays, simply because the player has no real way of telling where they are. At least with these contours, a player can immediately see where all the hills are and be able to react to it tactically. So that's it. There wasn't much to show, just a quick demo of the new contour line system. Thank you for watching. Bye.